which are on tie. Ensuring quality teaching and establishing goals and expectations. The impact level is 0.42. Okay? Then leading teacher learning and development, 0.84. So when you look at what is there and what you have given us, is there any discrepancy, or are they in resonance? Do they agree? Or do we disagree with Robinson? What do you think? You already had ranked them. Okay, you had ranked these things in order. But then this is Robinson's idea. So when you look at what you have done, do you disagree or do you agree with what he has put here? If you disagree, or if you disagree, give us your reason as to why you are saying no, it shouldn't be like that. So we are not disagreeing? Okay, let's move on. So, according to Robinson, what he means is that the one which has the most impact is leading teaching, teacher learning and development. So whatever we do in our schools, we have to ensure that we lead the teacher learning and also their development, so that they keep on developing and coming up with new strategies, new approaches, so that the teaching and learning can improve in the schools. But when we look at ensuring an orderly and safe movement or environment, that has the least impact level. But unfortunately, sometimes in some schools, I think that is where the focus has gone to. True,
Maureen?
Yes, Doc.
I think in many schools they believe in walking in order, doing things in orderly manner. I don't know why.
Yes, can we debate? Okay? In most of the schools, we want to do things in orderly manner. And that's when we think that is the one which has an impact. If we say school should start at 7 hours, it should be 7 hours. This is tea break. This teacher should go in at that. Everything should be according to how it is done. If we say no noise in the school, if we say this is prep time, if we say this is, everything should just be the way it has been planned for. And we think when we do that, we have that will have an impact on the student outcomes. Is it so? Can we talk? We need to talk, we need to share.
Hello.
It's not one person to talk.
Hello.
Hello, yes?
Hello. I think we tend to focus more on orderliness due to our large class sizes that have got to be used to use the same resources which are inadequate. So you tend to control the order so that because we are not that rich as far as learning resources are.
I think
otherwise it would be better if now.
Yeah, Chamuka, thank you very much for sharing that. What if we talk to our children and we teach them how to be responsible? How will that work compared with us herding them and guiding them like animal instead of empowering them to be responsible of their learning? Which one will work better, Chamuka?
It would work if we empower our children. And in my case, very easy to implement with the A-level classes because they are fairly small. But with Form 1 to 4, we have class sizes as large as 70 of media ability.
But Chamuka, if you have a class of 70 and you put them in groups of 7, that is a class of 10 groups. So 70 can become 10
Yes.
through your leadership.
Yes.
So numbers.
That's why I like education, because I have to adopt that, because that would do.
Yeah, because literature says there is nothing wrong with numbers. I teach 5,000 students and they do
Yes.
very well. But if you put them in groups of 7, those are 10 groups. So you'll be teaching 10 centers instead of 70 students.
Very feasible, resources permitting.
She's still going to resources. I like that.
Thank you.
Okay. I think usually we have a focus on the order. We are not saying it doesn't have any impact. The impact is there. Okay? You get us right, eh? The impact is there, but it is not as much as when you lead teacher learning and development. Are we together? Do we have anyone who has an itching point who wants to say something on this same one? Okay, we move on.
Maureen.
Yes.
Teacher learning, maybe, does it mean teacher learning we have to go to the university to learn, or are there other ways we can learn within the school?
Okay. I think initially I mentioned about promoting the continuing professional development. Okay? You keep on reshaping the skills of the teachers. I think even in Zimbabwe it's there where you have teacher group meetings where they discuss issues that pertaining to the problems that they have as teachers who have the common interest. Okay? And then even modeling a lesson. Probably maybe there are teachers who cannot teach a certain lesson very well. Then you help that teacher by probably somebody models that lesson. After they have modeled the lesson, then that person who didn't have the skill to teach that particular subject or that particular topic, they will have the skill now because they would have learned from somebody who would have modeled the lesson. And thereafter, they can also teach the lesson. And when they teach the lesson, people will be telling them where they have gone wrong, and they'll keep on teaching until they resharpen their skills. So when we are talking about teacher development, we are not saying you send all your teachers to the university or to the college so that they'll go and get new skills. They can learn within the school. So a good head teacher will ensure that they have a lot of programs that promote continuing professional development. Doc, maybe you want to add something? You can still add.
No, thank you, Maureen. I've learned. I just wanted us to be clear because when you say professional learning, people think you have to go learn somewhere. You can even learn in your class. When I go to class, I try a new idea. That is my learning moment. Then I sit and reflect. Okay. Sometimes I take a camera and I record myself teaching. Then I go observe myself and reflect. So you have said it very well. We can still learn in our own practice. Thank you very much, Maureen.
Thank you, Doc. Okay. So learning continues, and learning is every day, and every situation is a learning point. It is only that sometimes we don't want to take every situation as a learning point. We just want to spot out mistakes and leave out the learning that we are supposed to learn. Okay, so when you go to each class, probably maybe as an observer or a monitor, see what points you can learn from there and how you can help the other person learn. And then in that way, we are going to develop our teachers. And as we go on, as we learn during the week, we are going to see that whatever we do to help the others learn, we should not be proud of what we have done in a negative way to say, if it was not me, that person would have not learned. We should just be happy when somebody has learned because they want to learn more from us. Because issues of trust will come in. That is a lesson for another day. Okay? Leadership practice. The more leaders focus on their relationships, their work, and their own learning about the core business of teaching and learning, the greater their influence on student outcomes. Some of us as leaders, some of us as head teachers, we don't want to learn anymore. We think we have arrived. The learning is for the teachers. Is that a correct stance? Have we learned everything there is to learn in the world? We are debating?
No, madam.
Maureen,
What should we do as leaders?
Learning is an ongoing process. It has no end in itself. As we are doing right now, we are learning about instructional leadership. We will continue to learn new ideas. So every day, learn something that is new. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If we as leaders, we want to continue learning, that will have an indirect influence on the others. Because if they have a head teacher who wants to learn, who keeps on learning every day, from whatever situation it is, but the head teacher is learning, the other teachers will also want to learn. And when they learn, it means they are going to improve their pedagogical skills. And when they improve their pedagogical skills, it means even the learning outcomes will also be changed in the school. Okay, we should make learning our business as leaders. The schools that are doing very well are the schools where we have continuing development. And it should not just be continuing professional development, which is just timetabled or which is done because the ministry has said we should do it. It should be something that is well planned and something that is addressing the issues that we have. You can't address issues that are in another school and think those are the problems that you have. You need to know what you have as a problem. And you can do this through the monitoring, the observing, looking at people's books, as we are going to see as we go on. There are a lot of sources that will help you gather information. When you have gathered that information, you will use it now as a learning point. Those are some of the things that you are going to use in your CPD. Okay? And when a leader is learning, even the children will be able to know that our leader likes learning, is in support of learning. But what we do, if we are just, maybe children are just loitering around, there's no teacher in the class, and the head teacher doesn't seem to care, even the children will know our head teacher doesn't support learning. The environment is just something else. So the practice, the leadership practice that is required in a school should be that of promoting continuing professional development, where the leader also is on top of the things. Even when there's CPD, the head teacher should be found in those CPDs so that you see what the others are learning, what is being shared, what is your role, what do you need to change, or how do you need to help, what do you need to provide. That is creating a very good learning environment. And once we do that, we will see that the student learning outcomes are going to be changed for the better. Okay, let us look at school leaders' influence on teaching and learning. Okay, leadership and influence. The leadership can either have a direct influence on the learning, or it can have an indirect influence. So for this part, we are going to see how a leader can directly influence the learning in the school, the teaching and learning, and also indirectly influence the teaching and learning in the school. Let us look at the direct influence. Can somebody read bullet number 1? School leaders can influence classroom and lesson practices directly by bullet number 1.
Strategic decision making.
Strategic thinking and decision making. Do you, as a head teacher, think strategically?